Hi, I'm Ray Tatter. Thanks for tuning in. Coming up on LiveWire, we've got a great show for you today. We're going to talk to Amy Seibert, who's the artistic director of the Sacramento Ballet. Now, the Sacramento Ballet has been around in our town for about 70 years. It's a professional ballet company that does professional classical ballet as well as contemporary ballet. So stay tuned and learn a lot about dance in Sacramento. Los Angeles too, Sacramento, by watching LiveWire right after this. Hi, Amy. Welcome to LiveWire.
Thank you.
So you were walking down the street one day about 40 years ago, and you said, I think I'm going to be a professional ballet dancer. And then after a number of years, I think I'll be the artistic director of a professional ballet company. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. You think that happened?
Well, a little less of a straight line than that. When my parents told me I was going to take ballet originally, I cried. I didn't think I would like it. I was very much a tomboy, and it didn't fit my image of what I thought ballet was. And I took my first class, and I was hooked, and I loved it. And yeah, trained hard. I was a professional dancer for 19 years, and dancer years are kind of like dog years, like 1 = 8. So I was about 108 when I retired from dancing professionally, and was choreographing around the country, and then came back here. So I'm now the artistic director of the company I used to dance for, which is pretty wonderful.
Yes, it is. And it's not a bad town either. I happen to like this little town. I came here about, I don't know, a long time ago to work for the California Arts Council. And I thought, hey, this is a little better than downtown Los Angeles. I think I'll stay.
It's pretty fantastic. It's a great
it's a pretty lovely little town. It's not little. It's a nice little sub-city.
I like it.
No, it's a sub-city, all right. At any rate, so tell me, the ballet company, I've watched it change over the years and all the decades that I've been here, and it really is a contemporary ballet for the major regions in California, right?
Yeah, and well, I think Sacramento Ballet is a lot like, especially in the nation's capitals. There's a lot of companies like us. We have classically ballet trained dancers who can do Swan Lake, who can do Giselle, who can do all these classics. But these dancers are also required to be able to do contemporary work that's really standard now. Like you can't, as a dancer, you can't get a job anymore unless you really excel in both those fields. And the dancers here really do.
So what happened now with the current issues that we're having? All the theaters are closed. The actors are walking around grumbling about their lives. The dancers are probably stomping their feet on their carpets, doing a tour jeté on the backyard. Go on, what?
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy time. I think for all the performing arts. My husband is a musician as well, so we're both just like, when do we get to make art in front of people again? Mm-hmm. Which is as we don't really know when we can be back at it. It's a pretty big challenge. Our professional dancers early on, they really kind of took to taking class at home. Like we have a weekly or a daily company class. where people are Zooming in from maybe they've gone back to shelter with their family. So we have one dancer who's actually gone back to Germany to be with his husband. And, we have this class happening where he's taking class at, because of the time zone, at 9 o'clock at night, but he's still in class with his peers. And it's the time that we all come together via Zoom. So
yeah, that's great. It works.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but, we're doing the best we can with it.
Sure. And also you're doing some other classes virtual classes for your students.
Yes. Yeah. So our school pivoted to virtual. We opened our virtual school on April 1st. Most people have been kind enough to not point out that we did it on April Fool's Day, but that we started being able to do the classes via Zoom. And our first class that we pivoted to Zoom was one of our adult classes. It was our senior tap class. And it was mainly a bunch of ladies who are probably all around 70. And to have them figure out Zoom and to watch them figure out Zoom and to do tap in their garage was great. We have, starting next week, our summer intensive begins, and that is for pre-professional dancers all the way from ages 8 until 20. And we have dancers at all those ages training. We talk about the years that it takes to become a professional ballet dancer. And summer is always this time where you double down on your training. You dance for 6 hours a day. You're working so hard. And how we are changing that during this time so that this group of young dancers, they don't become like a lost generation of artists. We are figuring out new ways to do it. We are doing a ton of cross training because obviously you can't do as much in your living room as you do in the studio. And it's not ideal, but it's not so bad. We're doing okay with it.
This is great. Also, I just noticed that they have put on the screen your SACballet.org. And I have been to that website. I love it. It's really great because it really gives you a good feeling of what you do and how much there is to what you do. And if I wanted to be a supporter, I could go to this place and look for how these dinners and things that you present, yep. And also other services for the people that support ballet. Because ballet, these are big professional dancers. Each one of them is doing that for their life.
Yes,
it's very interesting to go there, and you can also watch some of the ballets because you've got some on. Online I can watch, and I watched a rehearsal actually of one of the ballets on your website, and I found it fascinating. Dancers standing in the background, like, oh, she's not doing very hard.
Yeah, we capture everything nowadays.
So you do have some of the things on there. Did you bring some tape, something that we could watch?
Yeah. So let's start with SOAR. So I'd love to share, this is an excerpt from a piece that would have premiered in March. And because of COVID, this ballet has yet to have its world premiere. It was finished. It was being brilliantly executed by our dancers. The choreographer, Jennifer Archibald, was here from New York working with them. She created something I think really fantastic. And what I love about this piece is she created it. Her inspiration was really coming from the place of what happens when a community suffers trauma. And she was using hurricanes as her kind of mental reference point for it. But what happens when a community suffers trauma and what they do when they come back together. And I feel like in the current world we are in, that this ballet has proven over and over again just to be a really relevant thing for our time.
Good. Let's have a look at it. Here we go. Wow. Yes. Wow. Bravo. 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 Oh, 10 minutes. Can I get a Coca-Cola?
So yeah, so that's a work by Jennifer Archibald, who is a just brilliant choreographer. This would have been the first time she would have had a piece on Sacramento Ballet, and this piece will happen eventually, but it's on hold. And you know, as an organization, we don't know when we're going to be able to go into a theater and perform again. We don't know when it's going to be safe for our dancers to work together again. Like, we work in a field where people are incredibly physical and they get really sweaty and that gets all over each other, and you know, all sorts of things that right now aren't super safe. So
they worked with this woman to develop the piece. Yeah, to develop the piece, right? They worked with her to develop the piece.
Oh yes,
that's a very interesting learning process. It's not about someone who is recreating a ballet that's been done for 90 years. You know, it's an interaction between the choreographer and the dancer or dancers. And it's an exciting moment for the dancer to say, okay, I will try that. Let me try it. And to make whatever that dance move that fits that moment the choreographer has in mind. And she goes, yes, that's right. That works fine. Something like that. Yeah, those are moments that are just, you know, that's part of something that is, you know, a regular ballet company that does, you know, standard classical series can't experience.
Yeah. I mean, really nationally anymore, all companies are doing work like this. Like, it's, and I think it's a great thing. And our dancers are exceptional at it. If you look at that little clip you just saw, there is so much of those individuals who are, there's so much of them in the movement. It's a collaboration. Like you were saying, they're not just imitating something else. It's coming out of them. And one of the things that breaks my heart is that by the time we do get to do this piece, and you know, hopefully within the next year, some of those dancers will be different. So the people who originally created it will never be able to be on stage with it, and that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, but I mean, there's nothing we can do about all those changes, unfortunately.
Yes.
It's just really tough, Amy. I feel badly about the theater companies in town that had plays, either some new plays going up or new productions of plays. And the theaters are quiet. And
yeah,
waiting.
We're all. I mean, I think of, you know, the seniors of 2020. There are so so many examples in every walk of life. This is just how for dance ours has surfaced.
So your board of directors calls you in and says, "Oh, what's going to happen next? What do we do? What do we do?"
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, what's the term? Scenario planning.
Scenario, right?
Yes. So, you know, because no one's crystal ball is working, and we don't exactly know how this will play out in the future, and it's hard to strategize when you don't know where the end point is.
That's right.
But again, we're not in this boat alone. So for now, our main thing has been pivoting. For our company has our organization rather has we always say it has 3 legs to the same stool. Okay, so we have our professional performing artist, and those are all professionals. That is their job. They are employees. This is, you know, what they do all day, every day. And then we have our school, and then we have our outreach and engagement. So we've been able to switch our school with the summer intensive coming up next week. Also with what we do with our little kids, we have pop-ups that'll be happening throughout the month, and some summer camps that'll be happening in July, and those start as young as age 4. So those are all happening via Zoom. And then we have been able to switch things, like we have a fall prevention for senior citizens class. And that is a free class open to the community. And that is happening via Zoom right now. So that we are having classes happening at all levels. And we've also been pivoting a lot of our outreach, because we're not going to be able to go into the schools in the fall and do assemblies, right? So how do we still get these content to these kids? And we've been able to pre-record a lot of that content and make something that I think is quite beautiful, that we can still hand off to the schools and expand our reach. I mean, they say, I've heard the term for our field, ballet, often really stuck in tradition in a way that doesn't always serve us. I keep hearing people say it's an evolutionary moment. We have to figure out how to behave in this moment, because everything we know and everything we've been practicing, we can't do. Okay, that's sad, we mourn that, but what can we do? How can we continue to serve our community? And those are the questions every day.
Well, these summer intensive they look like good, and all of the other stuff that you can do online is really terrific too. So if I'm going to be part of the summer intensive, what will happen to me?
You're going to train really hard. You are going to wake up in the morning, and the first thing you're going to do is a pretty intense conditioning class, which will be with a former principal dancer from Kansas City Ballet. She's quite amazing. Then you're going to have an hour and 15-minute technique class, where you really just work and hone your basic ballet technique. You're still going to work on different variations from classical ballets. You're going to be doing a lot of cross training, because that's really what we can do to try to keep the dancer's body in peak physical condition. When you can't be in a studio, you're gonna, if you're a young woman, you're probably going to be taking your point classes and working on your foot strength and all the foot intrinsics, so that you can master that technique. And then we are also doing some family partnering classes.
Family partnering? You mean my brother and I can put on our dance shoes and do tour jetés across the kitchen floor?
You can.
Good.
You absolutely can.
Well, this sounds like a strong plan. Yeah, I think people will enjoy it. And it's interesting that you talked about the guy taking one of the classes. He's from Germany, but through the magic of the internet, he can then take a class that he was supposed to have taken.
Yes.
Yeah, good. So the fall, you had some planned shows that you would open in the fall.
Yes.
What if everybody says, okay, we can go back in our theater next week?
Oh, that'd be amazing.
It would be, of course, because it's not going to happen. But
yeah, no, I mean, we the safety of the artist is the first consideration. The safety of all of our staff and crew, everyone who is backstage working, the safety of the audiences. So, but we're looking at what can we do? Could we perform outside? That seems to be the safe for everyone. If you're not inside a building, things get safer. So could we do a performance outside? Can we do a drive-in? Can we do a drive-through? What do we do? How can we get our art out there in this time? Those are the kind of things we're trying to be creative. Those are the things we are creative problem solving actively all day, every day.
All day, every day. Good. So I missed a couple of points in terms of the classes and all that. Your dancers, some of them are also learning choreography. Is that correct?
Well, the professional artists, quite a few of them choreograph, and that's so. I think about 25 years ago, Ron and Corinne Cunningham, the former directors, they had started something called Beer and Ballet. I know about it because I was actually a choreographer in the very first one that ever happened. Over on K and 17th Street. But through that program, a lot of our artists have really practiced choreographing quite a bit, and a lot of them really have individual voices that are pretty exceptional.
Pretty exceptional, yeah. Ron Cunningham really was an innovator, and really took the ballet company from being a nice regional ballet company up.
Yes, he did. And he was a wonderful boss.
Yeah, and he's still around.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't like to talk about artists in the back, past tense. Because they all want to still be working and doing stuff. I do.
Well, yeah, I mean, Ron and I, we still talk. He comes to see the productions quite often, and he's definitely choreographing around the country. So he's quite. Not in this moment as active working right now, but pre-COVID, he was doing some great things.
Pounding the drums. Good, I like it. So we talked a little bit about what's in the future. I mean, do you have dances that you have in your mind that you want to set yourself?
Always, and I think I'm trying to use this moment of pause to kind of figure out what's next and to keep dreaming. I can't wait to just be able to go into a studio and make a ballet with people again. That is pretty fantastic.
I think that's an important point, that a lot of my friends who are writers are writing. They're doing something new. And the visual artists are painting. I have studios over where I work, and there are artists who slip into their studio in the morning and come out late in the afternoon with paint all over them.
Nice.
So people continue to work if they can, but the fact that the ballet requires you to actually have dancers in one space.
Yeah. So can I show you one of the other videos?
Yeah. Let's see it.
Can we watch the Stay Home Sleeping Beauty? And let me give a.
Wow.
So if you don't have context for that, it's the Rose Adagio from Sleeping Beauty, which is where Aurora dances with 4 different princes who are, her suitors. And what I love is was done by Isabella Velasquez and Anthony Canarella, and they live together, so they're sheltering together. And what they did is Anthony portrayed each of the suitors by going in and out of frame each time. It's one of the things I love about these guys, these artists, is that it's quite silly and it's creative, and they made the most out of not being able to leave their apartment. But they brought such a smile to my face when I saw that. When I came across, they sent it to me and they're like, "Hey, we made something. If you want to use it for the ballet."
I like it.
They made my day. So again, these are beautiful, brilliant artists who are finding ways to be creative, even with the limitations of this time.
That's very good. Good. And I'm sure the other artists, they can't wait to get back into the studio and get them doing what they do. And I'm sure that will happen, and you'll be shocked to find out, okay, it's going to happen. I like it very much.
Wait.
So the company members, how long does a company member like literally stay, or do they move? I mean, like, is it like baseball where somebody says, "Oh man, that male dancer, I want him in my ballet company"?
That can happen for sure. But we have dancers who are only here for a year, and then we've got one of our senior male dancers has been here for 16.
16.
Yep.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Still getting up in the air, huh?
He's doing great. Brilliant artist.
I used to think male dancers in the ballet were only there for lifting.
No, they do a lot more than that.
I know. But when I started to watch the ballet, I would only go to classical ballets in Los Angeles. So I'd see the Russian companies come into town, and they would walk around, unless of course it was some of the fabulous. There were 2 or 3 fabulous male dancers, and they would they're from the Russian companies during that time. It would be very, very interesting to see their work. I once went to see Romeo and Juliet, Antoinette Sibley, and I forget the woman's name, and then I